Okay, so welcome to all of you. So today we will see the chapter 3. So that is what the primes and the theory of the congruence. So first we will define what do you mean by prime number. So you are familiar with the prime number, that is in Marathi it is called मूळ संख्या. मूळ संख्या म्हणजे काय, ज्या संख्येला फक्त त्याच संख्येने भाग जातो त्याला आपण मूळ संख्या म्हणतो, राइट. सो दॅट मीन्स अ नंबर विच इज डिव्हिजिबल बाय प्लस और माइनस 1 or प्लस और माइनस itself. Plus or minus 1. See, this is the definition. Prime number. An integer p greater than 1. Note that the 1 is not a prime integer. So prime number is greater than 1. Okay. So it is called a prime number if it has the divisors only plus or minus 1. This is 1, not I. This is plus or minus 1 or plus or minus p. Right. म्हणजे ज्या संख्येला फक्त त्याच संख्या आणि त्याच संख्येला भाग जातो त्याला आपण प्राइम नंबर म्हणतो, मूळ संख्या म्हणतो. ओके. So that a prime number is integer which has no proper divisors. So no proper divisors. That means what the divisor other than plus or minus 1 and plus or minus p are called proper divisors, and these are the improper divisors. That means what an integer p greater than 1 is called a prime number if it has only improper divisors. If it has only improper divisors. This is also simple definition of the prime number. Okay. So other definition also what? So it has no proper divisors. It has no proper divisor. A number which has no proper divisor is called a prime number. Okay. An integer. So this is what an integer a greater than 1 is called a prime number if it has no proper divisor. If it has no proper divisor, or if it has only improper divisors. Only improper divisors. Okay. So the composite number means what? A number which is not a prime is called a composite number. That means it can be expressed as a product of the integers. So what here? So a is equal to mn. So this is what product of the two integers. This is a is expressed as a product of the two integers or product of the number of integers. No problem. This is what m, n, p, q, r, so on. This is what. So a can be expressed as a product of integer. Then that number will be the composite number. So suppose this is what 27 now. So this is what I can write. This is what 9 into 3. So this is what 9 into 3. So this is what 3 into 3 into 3. So that means what this is the composite number because we can express this as a product of the product of two or more than two integers. So this is the composite number. Now see, this is what 3. 3 is what? So we cannot express this as a product of two integers. So that means 3 is the prime number. So the smallest prime number is the 2. After that what? This is 5, 7, 8. No, 8 is the composite number. 9 is what? 3 into 3 is the composite. 10 is the composite because 10 we can write 5 into 2. So then what? 11. So we cannot write 11 as a product of integer. 11. 12 I can write 12 as a 16 into 2. So that means what? 12 is not a prime number. So 13 I cannot express 13 as a product of the two integers. So that means 13 is the prime number. Then 14 I can write 14 as a 7 into 2. So that means 14 is not a prime number. Then what? 14, 15 again the 15 is not so it is divisible by 5. Okay. Note that the even numbers are not prime. Only this is the smallest even number. So only 2 is the even number which is the prime. Other even numbers are not a prime. So only think on the odd numbers now. So what here then after 13 this is 15. So 15 is the odd number, but 15 is divisible by 5. So that means 15 is not a prime number. So then 16 is even, so it will be not a prime. Then up 17, yes, 17 is the prime number, right? Then 17, 18, 19 is the prime number. 21 is not a prime number. 21 is divisible by 3 or 21 is also divisible by 7. Then 23 is the prime number, right? So find out all the prime numbers lies between 1 and 100 now. So right, so you have to write all the prime numbers up to 100. After 23 is what? 24, 25, 27, 29. So 29 will be here. So these are the prime numbers lies between 1 and 30 now. These are the prime numbers lies between 1 and 30. So how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are the 10 numbers. 10 prime numbers lies between 1 and 30. So you can find the prime numbers lies between 1 and 40, 1 and 50, 1 and say 60, 1 and so try to find the prime numbers lies between 1 and 100 now, right? So here what 20, then this is what 31, right? 35, 36, 37, 37 we can write here 37. 39 is not, 39 is what? 39 is not a prime because it is divisible by 3, right? Because 13 into 3 is 39. Then 41 is there, 41 is there, right? 42 is not, 42 is even, 43 is there, 43 is there, okay? 44, 45, 46, 47 is the prime number, 47 is the prime number, okay? So 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 is the prime number, 53, huh? It is not in the table of any number now, so okay? 55, 54 is not even, 55, 56, 57, 57, 57, so 5 plus 7 is 12, so this is divided by 3 now, 57 is divided by 3, so 57 is not a prime. So then 59, so what about the 59? Yes, 59 is the prime, 59. So what about the 61 then? 61. So you can do this one now, okay? So try for this one. So we take one important theorem. This is very important theorem now. So name of that theorem is the Euclid's lemma. We also seen the Euclid's lemma in the divisibility. So Euclid's lemma. Okay. So statement. If P is a prime, if P is a prime, and P divides AB, then P divides A or P divides B. P divides A or P divides B. So if P is a prime, if P divides the product, then what to prove? P always divides A or P divides B. So if P does not divide A, then P must divide B. If P does not divide B, then P must divide A. So that means what? P divides any one of the A and B. Okay. So if P is the prime and it divides the product, then P divides one of the A and B. This is the Euclid's lemma. We will prove this one. So prove. Given that P is a prime, such that P divides AB. Okay. So therefore AB is equal to P times X now. So X belongs to Z by definition of the divisibility. Okay. Now we prove. So this we have given AB is equal to Px. We have given this. Okay. So now what we will prove? P divides A or P divides B. So if P divides A, if P divides A, then nothing to prove. Right? So if P divides A, then nothing to prove. So we will assume that P does not divide. So we assume that P does not divide A now. So then we must have to prove P divides B. Okay? And so we assume that P does not divide. We want to prove that. P divides B. This we have to prove. Okay. So with the help of P divides AB, we have to prove P divides A. So since P does not divide A, so that means what? GCD of AP is equal to 1. GCD of AP is equal to 1. Okay. So GCD of AP is 1. That means what here? We have applied this here. So I can write this is what? AM plus PN is equal to 1. Okay. So where M and N belongs to Z. What I have to prove? P divides B now. What I have to prove? P divides B. So P divides B. I have to prove P divides B. Means what I have to prove? B is equal to P times some integer. B is equal to P times. I want B is equal to something. So here we have 1 is equal to something. Right? I will multiply by B now here. So I can write this is what B is equal to. I can write B is equal to what? ABM plus PBN. PBN. What does this implies? This is implies. Okay. This is implies. This is implied. B is equal to, what is AB? AB is equal to PX. This AB, I can write this is what PX now. So PX M plus PBN. So B is equal to, what is this? So this is equal to P into XM plus BN. Okay. Now this MX plus BN belongs to Z. This belongs to Z because what here? M and N are the integers. So X is the integers, right? And your A and B are also integers now, right? So product of the two integer is integer, sum of two integer is a integer. So that means what? B is equal to P times some integer. So this implies that what? B divides P. Oh, P divides B. This is what? P divides B. P divides B. So B is equal to P times some integer. So P divides B. So we have proved this. P divides B, right? So this is what? The Euclid's lemma, right? This is the proof of the Euclid's lemma. Very simple proof of the Euclid's lemma. Just what? P divides AB. Just P divides AB means what? AB is equal to PX. AB is equal to PX. So, okay. So we keep this as it is. So if P divides A, what we have to prove? Either P divides A or P divides B. So if P already divide A, then you don't have to prove anything. What is our theorem? So what is the outcome? Either P divides A or P divides B. If your P is already divided by A, so then what you have to do? We have to do. We don't have to do anything now here. Okay. So we assume that P does not divide A. So we assume that P does not divide A. So then we must have to prove P divides B. So P does not divide A. That means what? There is no common. Right? Also there is no P is a prime. P is a prime. So P is prime. That means what? So only divisors of P are what? Plus or minus 1 and plus or minus P only. So that means for P and A there will not be a common element. That means their GCD is always 1. That means they are the relatively prime. They are the relatively prime. Right? So that means what? If they are relatively prime, that means their GCD is 1. Their GCD is 1. So I have got this is what we know that every GCD is expressed as a linear combination of the two integers. So I can express this what? A and P. So 1 is expressed as a linear combination of A and B. So that means we have two integers m and n such that am plus this. So we get b here. So just multiply by b here. So b is equal to ab to this. We have the value of ab now. Value of ab is equal to px because we have already given that p divides ab. So just replace the value of ab as what? Px. Just I have replaced the value of this one. And now see here p is the common. I have taken the p common here. So what do I get? And whatever this is the part left, that is the integers. So p divides b. And so that means what your theorem is over. Okay. So we have proved this. And note that this is the Euclid's lemma. So we generalize this now. We generalize this Euclid's lemma. Okay. So if P is a prime, and P divides A1, A2, an, then P divides AI for some I 1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. Okay. So proof. So now here what? P divides the product up to n number. Okay. Now n is what here? N is the natural number. See, this is 1, 2, 3. N is the natural number. Now P divides the product of n integers. So that means what? N integers. N is the natural number now here. Okay. So now what we'll do? We'll apply the mathematical induction on this one. Okay. So we will apply mathematical induction on induction on n. Okay, so let Pn, so this is step 1 now. This is step 1. Let Pn denote the statement. So P divides A1, A2, A3 dot 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 An implies that P divides AI, I1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. Okay, so that means what? P divides one of the integer. P divides one of the integer. Okay, step 2. Step 2. For n is equal to 1, the result is 2. The result is 2. So what is that? If n is equal to 1, then what? So this will be only a1. P divides a1. So then what? P divides a1. Automatically true. So we'll take for n is equal to 2 now. For n is equal to 2. Okay. So P divides a1, a2. P divides a1, a2. This implies that P divides a1 or P divides a2. Just we have proved this. P divides ab. We have proved that P divides a or P divides b. We have proved this. Right. So therefore P2 is true. P2 is true. So P1 is true. Therefore what? P1 and P2 are true. Are true. It is enough to say that P2 is true. No problem for it. Okay. So now step 3 now. Step 3. Okay. Assume that Pk is true for some k belong to n. That is P divides a1, a2 dot 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 ak implies that P divides I 1 less than equal to I less than or equal to k now. Just we have to replace n by k now. Now this is a very important thing. So step 4. Step 4 is very important now. Step 4. We want to prove Pk plus 1 is true. Pk plus 1 is true. That is to prove that P divides a1, a2 dot 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 ak plus 1 implies that P divides ai 1 less than equal to I less than equal to k plus 1. Okay. So since P divides a1, a2 dot 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 ak into ak plus 1. ak plus 1. What does this implies? P divides, this is the product. I can write this a1, a2, ak as a now, and this is what then k plus. So by step 2 I can write by step 2 or by step 1. So by step 2, okay. So by step 2 this is what a1, a2 dot 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 ak, okay, or P divides ak plus 1 or P divides ak plus 1. Okay. So now this implies that P divides ai. So 1 less than equal to I less than equal to k, and P divides ak plus 1. Okay, very simple. This is by step 3 now. Seen by step 3. What is your step 3? If P divides a1, a2, ak, then P divides ai. Now P divides ai for I is equal to, also P divides ak plus 1. What does this imply? P divides ai 1 less than equal to I less than equal to k plus 1, because P also divides this one, right? So therefore Pk plus 1 is true. Pk plus 1 is true. Therefore Pn is true. Pn is true for all n belongs to n. Okay. So therefore P divides a1, a2 dot 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 ak implies that P divides ai 1 less than equal to I less than equal to n. So This is the theorem. This is very important. This is the corollary of the Euclid's lemma. Corollary of the Euclid's lemma. Okay. So remember this along with the proof. So this is a very important thing. This is very important thing. So we'll take a problem. If P is the prime, such that P divides A and P divides A square plus B square, then show that P divides B. Then show that P divides B. Example 1. Okay, so whatever the example will be. Okay, so solution. P is given that P is a prime. P is a prime. Such that P divides A square plus B square. This is given to you. Okay, P divides A, P is the prime, means what? P also divides A square also. Because what? P divides A square means what? A into A. So P divides A is there. I can write P also divide A square now. So P A square plus B square. Okay, so this implies that P divide A square plus B square minus A square. Okay, so this is true now. We have proved this one. We have proved this one what? A divide B, A divide C, then A divide B minus C. We have proved this one. If A divides C, A divide B, A divide C, then A divide B minus C or C minus B, whatever this is. He also divided plus also, A divide B plus C also. That we have proved this one. What does this imply then? B divides. So this is what? B square. Now P is the prime, divide B square. So P divides either B or either B. That means what? P divides B. So that we want. So the problem is over now. Next, if P is a prime, prove that P divide PR for 1 less than equal to R less than or equal to P minus 1. Less than equal to P minus 1. Okay. So solution. Example. What is the number? Number is not important here. This is the example. What is the example? If P is a prime, we have to prove that P divides PCR. This is the combination now. Right? Permutation combination we have seen. This is that PCR then. Okay. So where R is the line between 1 and P minus 1. This is P minus 1. This is P minus 1. Okay. So we have P is a prime. P is a prime such that 1 less than equal to R less than equal to P minus 1. Okay. So we know that PCR is equal to what? P into P minus 1, P minus 2, dot, P minus R plus 1 upon R factorial. Right? So that is what? P into P minus 1, P minus 2, dot, P minus R plus 1 is equal to PCR into R factorial. Okay. Factorial. Okay. So P divides P into P minus 1, P minus 2, dot, P minus R plus 1. Okay. Because P product here. Okay. What does this imply then? P divide. What is this? This is what? PR R factorial. Okay, as your r is what lies between 1 and p minus 1. So that means what here? This implies that p do not divide r factorial, because p is the prime. P divide the product, but p cannot be divided r factorial because r is less than p minus 1. So p cannot divide r factorial. So p divide r factorial. Okay. So first we will write this. P divide p r, since what? P does not divide r factorial. Since p does not divide r factorial. So we are through now. We are through. Okay. So the problem is over now. Now we have to prove that next example, very important now, prove that root 2 is not a rational number. Rational number is not a rational number. This we have to prove. Okay. Suppose. Okay. So solution. Suppose root 2 is a rational number. Suppose root 2 is a rational number. What we have to do? We have to show that root 2 is not a rational number. So we must get a contradiction somewhere. That is root 2 is equal to a upon b such that GCD of ab is equal to 1. That means what? See, this is what 6 upon 3. Okay, so 6 upon 2 suppose here, or suppose 16 upon 14 suppose here. Okay, so I can divide by, this is what 2, this is 7, and this is what 8, then this is 8 by 7 now. That means 16 upon 14 is what? 8 by 7. So what is 8 by 7? Then GCD of 8 by 7 is equal to 1. So I have taken this what a and b such that GCD of ab, that means what? The 16 upon 14 is same as 8 upon 7. But I have taken this 8 upon 7 such that what? I have taken this a and b such that GCD of ab is equal to 1 for the convenience. Okay. Now we'll take the square of this one. We'll take the square of this one. So this is 2. This is what? A square upon b square. So a square is equal to what? 2b square. What does this imply then? What does this imply? So a square is equal to 2b square. Okay. So that means what here? 2 divide a square, because a square is equal to 2b square. 2 divides a square. 2 is the prime. So what does this imply then here? 2 divides a. 2 divides a. That means what does this imply? A is equal to 2 times m. A is equal to 2 times m. M belongs to z now. M belongs to z now. Okay. So a is equal to twice m. Means what? A square is equal to 4 m square. A square is equal to 4 m square. Now what is this? So a square is equal to 4 m square. So 4 m square is equal to twice b square. 4 m square. Therefore 4 m square is equal to, see, a square is equal to twice b square. Okay, 4 m square. So therefore what? So 2 get cancelled. B square is equal to twice m square. B square is equal to twice m square. So what does this imply then? B square. 2 divide b square now. 2 divide b square. 2 divide b square. What does this imply? 2 is the prime. So 2 divides b. Okay. So I will call this as 1. I will call this as 2. So from 1 and 2. From 1 and 2. 2 divides a. 2 divides b. 2 divides. So what does this imply? GCD of AB is greater than or equal to 2. That means what? 2 is the common factor. Right? 2 divides A, 2 divides B. And what is the GCD of AB? Is 1. GCD of AB is 1. But GCD of AB is equal to 1. And what from we get? GCD of AB is greater than or equal to 2. Your GCD of AB is equal to what? How? We have chosen A and B. So we have chosen A and B such way that GCD of AB is 1. And what? So this is my wrong supposition. This is my wrong supposition. Root 2 is the rational number, is the wrong supposition. With 2 to this wrong supposition, I get a wrong answer. So what here? If your root 2 is a upon b, so what we get then? A instead of ab is greater than equal to 2. So therefore, this is a contradiction. This is contradiction. This is a contradiction. Contradiction. Therefore, root 2 must be irrational number. Similarly, if you want to prove root 5 is not a rational number, what to do? Root 5. So I take here root 5, right? Take the root 5 as here what? Replace 2 by 5 everywhere. Replace 2 by 5 here. If you want to prove root 3 is not a rational number, so just write root 2 as a root 3 now. The same thing here. Just here what? Wherever there is a 2, just write then 3. Root 2, root 3, root 7, right? So you can prove that root 3 is not a rational number. Root 5 is not a rational number. Root 7 is not a rational number. Whatever this one, just write. Just remember this for 2. Just write what? Everywhere. If you want to prove root 3 is not a rational number, just write 2 as a 3 now here. Replace 2 as a 3 everywhere now here. Okay. If you want to prove root 5 is not a rational number, replace 2 as a 5 everywhere. Don't do anything. Okay. So I hope that you understand this one. Okay. So for the prime number, next we will do for the congruence relation now. Okay. So we stop here now. Okay. So thank you.